It's getting cold on the border between Belarus and Poland. You can read it on the foreheads of migrant children. The only thing heating up right now is the political tension. Russia announced it was conducting military exercises with Belarus, leading Poland to increase its military presence. Now the United Kingdom has stepped in, sending a team of soldiers to help Poland strengthen its borders. Belarus's defense minister has warned Poland not to overestimate its abilities. Meanwhile, migrants who believed this was the gateway to a new life in Europe remain stuck behind barbed wire. The European Union has accused Belarus of manufacturing the crisis in retaliation for sanctions imposed on Minsk over human rights abuses.
Two Russian soldiers have been killed after their parachutes collided during joint military exercises with Belarus, close to the Polish-Belarusian border. The drills are being seen as Moscow's latest show of support for Minsk in its dispute with the European Union over migrant flows. Hundreds of would-be migrants who've gathered on the frontier have been receiving food aid from the Belarus Red Cross. The body of a young Syrian man was found on Friday, at least the 9th victim of a crisis that the United Nations has deplored.
Good evening. Thousands of people have taken to the Melbourne streets to protest against the Andrews government's pandemic laws. Just before this afternoon's rally began, the state opposition called for Victorians to fight on every level.
The controversial new pandemic bill will be debated in the Upper House next week, but outside Parliament today there was no debate, instead a unified message.
Don't pass that draconian bill.
They gathered at the State Library, then marched to State Parliament with their flags and their fingers. One on horseback.
A lot of punishment coming.
The state opposition pushing for stronger action now.
I would encourage Victorians to fight on every level against Daniel Andrews' terrible pandemic bill.
Their concern, the powers granted to the Premier in the unprecedented pandemic bill.
Long-time allies now in a standoff. Israel has rejected any U.S. plans to reopen its consulate for Palestinians in Jerusalem.
There's no room for another American consulate in Jerusalem. Jerusalem is the capital of one state, and that's the state of Israel.
The United States will be moving forward with the process to reopen our consulate.
U.S. President Joe Biden made a campaign pledge to reopen the diplomatic mission, which was closed under his predecessor. But so far, a date has not been given. Israeli Foreign Minister Yair Lapid suggested placing the consulate in Ramallah, which is the Palestinian Authority's de facto capital in the occupied West Bank.
Meanwhile, French President Emmanuel Macron hosted leaders and diplomats in Paris on Friday for an international conference on Libya's political crisis. The conference aimed at ensuring that Libya sticks to its plan of holding national elections in December. Along with Libyan leaders, the key summit also included important political figures like German Chancellor Angela Merkel, Italian Prime Minister Mario Draghi and US Vice President Kamala Harris. Participants expressed their support for a free, fair and inclusive polls. Leaders also called for withdrawal of mercenaries and foreign military forces from the region. The deteriorating air quality in and around the Indian capital has become a situation of high concern. A layer of eye-stinging smog continues to linger in the city, that is Delhi, for an 8th day now. The government has put out an advisory for people living in Delhi NCR regions. Both the government and private offices will have to work on reducing vehicle usage by at least 30%. So working from home and carpooling have been highly advised. Government officials have been asked to be completely ready for taking measures against the emergency category when it comes to air quality. Now, to curtail the worsening air quality, trucks will be banned from entering the national capital. And construction activity has also been put on a halt till the situation gets better.
Just going out here, we're getting a few more details about that plane crash that has taken the life of Glenn DeVries. You might remember the 49-year-old astronaut who was aboard that Blue Origin flight with William Shatner. Apparently, this was in a Cessna 172, a four-seat airplane that went down in a wooded area late yesterday in Hampton Township in New Jersey, about 40 miles northwest of New York City.
When the Afghan government fell to the Taliban in August, the U.S. relied on its military and on Qatar to evacuate Americans and Afghans at risk. Nearly 3 months later, Washington and Doha are formalizing a collaboration born out of crisis.
Qatar will establish a U.S. interest section within its embassy in Afghanistan to provide certain consular services and monitor the condition and security of U.S. diplomatic facilities in Afghanistan. The second agreement formalizes our partnership with Qatar to facilitate the travel of Afghans with U.S. special immigrant visas.
The last of the U.S. Embassy officials left Kabul on August 31st, so it's been very difficult for the State Department to get passports and visas to U.S. and Afghan citizens. Now, Qatari officials in Kabul will fill that void.